Okay, for this lesson you will need your journal and turn to the next available page, which should be around page 20. You're going to title this one Proportions. You will also need your math workbook, and you're going to turn to Module 5-2, which is on page 91, and we're going to go through page 93. So we're not going to do this in our workbook, but you do need your workbook out so that you can see the problems that we are doing. So if you need to pause this, please do so to get your workbook, pages 91 through 93. The first example we're going to do is example number 1 on page 91. It says Tom is putting a basketball hoop up along one side of his driveway. The pole needs to be set in concrete. He buys 4 bags of concrete mix at his local lumber yard. Each bag of concrete mix requires 6 pints of water. How many pints of water will Tom need for his 4 bags of concrete mix? So the first thing we want to do is decide what are we comparing in words? We are comparing pints of water to bags of concrete. Okay. Now, we're going to look back in our problem, and it says each bag of concrete mix requires 6 pints of water. So, 6 pints for every 1 bag. This is a unit rate. But our question says, how many pints of water will Tom need for his 4 bags of concrete mix? So we're going to solve this by using a proportion. I know that we can solve this one easily in our head, but we want to use a proportion. So we want to know how many pints of water. That is going to be our x. This is our unknown for 4 bags of concrete. So we have to think using our equivalent ratios. What did we do to this 1 to get 4? We multiplied by 4. So we're also going to multiply our top term by 4. So we have x equals 24 pints of water. All right. Now on to page 91. Page 92. We're going to look at example number 2. Okay, example 2 says Carmen likes to make her own trail mix. Her recipe calls for 8 cups of peanuts and 2 cups of chocolate chips. She discovers that she only has 4 cups of peanuts in her cupboard. How many cups of chocolate chips does she need for this amount of peanuts? Okay, we have to think. What are we comparing here? We're comparing peanuts to chocolate chips. All right, going back to our problem, it says her recipe calls for 8 cups of peanuts for every 2 cups of chocolate chips. I'm just going to abbreviate that CC right there. And our question says, or asks, how many cups of chocolate chips does she need for her amount of peanuts, which is 4 cups of peanuts. So she has 4 cups of peanuts. And we want to know how many cups of chocolate chips. We can look at this again with equivalent ratios. What did we do to 8 to get 4? We divided by 2. 8 divided by 2 gives us 4. So 2 divided by 2 is going to give us 1. So X equals 1 cup of chocolate chips. Now, these proportions worked out nice and neat for us. But we're going to look at some that aren't going to be quite as neat to look at. All right, we're going to look over at example 3 to 6, and we want to know what is that equal to over 15. Okay? All right, now we can't do anything to this 6 to get 15. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to cross multiply. We're going to multiply 6 times X equals, and then we're going to multiply 3 times 15, which gives us 45. Okay, but we do not want to know what 6x equals. We want to know what just x equals. So we have multiplied this x by 6. So to undo multiplication, we have to divide. And we're going to divide this side by 6, but we have to do the same thing to both sides. So we're going to divide this side by 6. 6 divided by 6 is going to cancel each other out, and we're left with just x. There's really an invisible 1 right here, but we don't have to put that. So 6 divided by 6 cancels out. We have x equals, and we can divide that by putting that into our calculator. 45 divided by 6 will give us 7 5/10. 7 5/10. So when they don't work out nice and neat like these two, then we have to use our cross multiplying to figure those out.